got the American in Cheyanne Buys, who is a minus 190 favorite with a comeback of plus 160 for the Brazilian Gloria de Paula, man. Now, we saw de Paula get basically just hugged to death in her last fight, right? You know what I'm saying? It happens. Jin Fry, she needed the big win, and that's how she got it. She needed that first UFC win, so she played it really safe and says, I'm going to take away Gloria de Paula's best weapon, which is arguably her stand-up. It's her Muay Thai, right? She started her entire martial arts career as a Muay Thai practitioner and then moved on to MMA. Beautiful knees, beautiful kicks. Get that Thai plum. It's going to be a problem. But guess what, AJ? This is very similar to what I talked about with Macy Barber versus Miranda Maverick, where they're both really good at kind of the same things, right? Because Cheyanne Buys, same thing. Knees, kicks. She's a black belt in Taekwondo. It's basically the same thing, right? The main difference here is I want to ask you off the bat, who do you think is the more technical striker? Because both of these fighters are really, really legit strikers. Who's more technical in your opinion?
If I had to give the the technical advantage to anyone, I'd probably go Cheyanne Buys, man. She stays a little more kind of close up in, keeps a high guard, keeps everything down the pipe. Whereas Gloria de Paula, really her biggest kind of pro and con is she looks for those clinches right away, and she'll leave her hands extended. She'll leave her hands extended where they're able to get up underneath or over the top and really hurt you when you're not defending your head anymore when you're reaching out for that Thai plum. Who would you give the striking advantage to, or the technical advantage, excuse me?
So I'm actually going to have to disagree with you, and I'm going to Paula in terms of the more technical fighter, and here's the reason why. Cheyanne Buys, when she's at her best, she is pressuring you. She's walking forward and she's throwing, she's swinging and banging, man. She's like one of the definitions of a legit fighter. Like, she's down to bang, right? And Gloria de Paula, she'll stay in the pocket, she'll throw the right cross, bring it back. Not the over the knee, super crazy, she'll bring it back, kick, ba, 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 ba. You're just like tight, you know what I'm saying? And I like that because with, the kicks of Gloria de Paula as opposed to Cheyanne Buys, it's like the thing that I feel about Cheyanne Buys personally, because both these fighters have very little experience, right? Combined, they are 10-5 overall in their entire careers, right? No UFC wins as of yet. But Cheyanne Buys, she'll go into that Cody Garbrandt see red mode where she'll just start throwing big hooks over the top, really one of those crazy, the big knees. And we see it. We saw it in the Dana White Contender Series against Hillary Rose, who is a very, very skilled prospect on the regional scene. We saw it. She tried to pull it off against Montserrat Ruiz, but Ruiz just head and arm tossed her a million times, right? But de Paula, I think she relies on the Muay Thai a little bit more, which is a little sharper than the Taekwondo. Would you agree with me? Just because Taekwondo, it's all kicks. It's all big motions, big animated motions. Muay Thai is very much more tight in the pot. Bring it back. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with you in that aspect, especially when the fight becomes a fight and not a match anymore in round 2 and 3, when really, like you said, they start to see red and start to get crazy and you fall back on what you've been doing for years. I could agree with that. I definitely think Cheyanne Buys looks a little bit more aggressive and kind of uncontrolled, whereas Gloria de Paula, she does stay back to her skills of that Muay Thai. Both I definitely think the clinch is a little, we're going to see that's where the X factor comes in, who's able to get the best of the clinch. But as far as staying sharp and staying right in the pocket, yeah, Gloria de Paula has very, very good technique and a very, very sharp right hand that goes right down the pipe, and very good elbows as well. She's very well-rounded.
Absolutely. So let's talk about speed. Let's talk about speed here, right? I think naturally Buys, apologies, I'm trying to get the name right still. I don't think that she is the fastest strawweight in the world. And I think she sacrifices speed because she sits down on her shots a little bit more. Now, I could say the same thing for de Paula, but I think de Paula is even slower because she really, what she lacks in speed, she makes up tenfold in power. So power advantage, who are we going? Buys or de Paula?
Yeah, I'd have to go power advantage to de Paula.
Speed?
Speed. This one, I don't know, man. This one's right there where I think they're both kind of in that same realm of, if they stay sharp and don't load up on their punches, I think they both have the same speed. Whereas I think Cheyanne Buys does have faster kicks. I will give her that. She does have faster kicks than Gloria de Paula. So power, de Paula, speed, Buys. Kind of a mix up for that one. Who do you think?
I think that's an accurate statement right there. I think Buys does have a little bit more power. Speed than de Paula specifically. But let's talk about this other X factor right here, man. This fight goes to the ground. Who has the advantage if this fight goes to the ground?
Man, if off the bat, I'd give the advantage to Baez or Bays or however you say the last name, just
Cheyenne,
because she's
yeah.
a she's a little more well rounded. Or at least we've seen a little bit better. She knew what to do against Montserrat Conejo. She just wasn't able to get it done. You
Hmm.
saw her go into her base and actually able to twist the hips and rotate underneath. Just got out gamed by Montserrat. Whereas Gloria de Paula, Jinyu Fry just absolutely manhandled her on the
Yeah.
ground. She literally just went to her back and didn't try anything else to get up. So if I had to give the advantage on the ground, I'm going Bays, man. Who do you
Okay.
got?
I'd agree with you. I think that Bays not only has the advantage on the ground, but she has like a drastic advantage. But here's the biggest X factor on top of that, right? So if you'll remember, Jinyu Fry, excuse me, she fights out of Fortis MMA. That's kind of a new endeavor for her, right? And her last matchup was Gloria de Paula, and they hugged her to death, got the win easy. Safe Saud was going crazy, clapping, all that, making it happen for Jinyu Fry, right? Well, what's the common factor here? Cheyanne, guess where she fights out of? Fortis MMA. Guess who's going to be in her corner? Safe Saud. Guess who's a very recent opponent? They just fought Gloria de Paula. I think that Safe Saud is the X factor, similar to how I mentioned James Krause can be an X factor at times. And I think that they're going to have a game plan against de Paula because they already know what worked. So the question is going to be, does de Paula, who fights out of Shoot to Box Diego Lima, is she going to be able to work on that takedown defense? I mean, that's a Muay Thai gym, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
So just
yeah, it's a
give me your assessment really quickly though, man. Do you think that Gloria de Paula, in between the last time that she fought, which was not that long ago, to now, even had enough time to really work on those like wrestling sprawls and things of that nature?
No, I don't think so. I definitely think we're going to see the same game plan coming out of Cheyenne Bays for the fact that Gloria de Paula really likes to get that tie clinch. And once you get your hands on somebody, the takedown's even easier, especially when they're coming in and advancing. All you got to do is duck under, shoot a double leg, shoot a single leg. You're already in on the hips, lock those hands up. And we've seen that Gloria de Paula doesn't really like to do anything off of her back, especially because I don't think she's had the time to learn anything off of her back. It's, down there in Brazil, obviously the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is crazy, but they're more of a Muay Thai gym, like you were saying. I don't think she's necessarily has the chops or the time frame in order to learn the chops. Whereas Cheyenne Bays, they're planning heavy down there, and they've already seen a game plan to win against Gloria de Paula. Now, that being said, when you do take a big loss and you go back and you rewatch that fight, you know what you got to work on. So Gloria de Paula could have been already thinking, like, I'm solid on the feet. I'm solid stand up. I'm solid in the clinch. I'm got that, but I need to work on my ground game. So they could have done it, 2-3 months. I don't know how long the fight's been since there, but 2-3 months of strict wrestling, strict jiu-jitsu work could have, put a little hitch in her step, and we'll see how that goes so far. Do you think she's had enough time to change her game plan up? And so is something different going forward?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, man. It's just not enough time. You need more time. You need a really long camp to be able to work those skills. And I think that she's probably going to say, let me just sharpen the hands a little bit more and not even allow her to get it to there. Let me just get her out of there first, man. Because this will be a violent fight. I really do believe that. But my last question before we give our picks on this one, man. Both of these fighters in their UFC debuts suffered incredibly decisive losses, like not even close for both of these fighters. It's hard for us to tell because we don't know these people personally. But from what you've seen on the big screen and all of that stuff, who do you think who will be more mentally tough and able to bounce back in this next fight? Because, like I said, this is your UFC debut. You lose very decisively after big contender series wins prior to that. Who do you think will bounce back stronger?
I think Bays is going to bounce back stronger on this one, especially because of her after fight antics in her last one, where she was saying, "I'm gonna follow this bitch out." Like, I definitely think she already bounced back after the loss. She didn't think she lost that one. She was already, she might have thought she lost that one, but she didn't think that it was. She still belonged in the fight. So I definitely think Cheyenne Bays is going to bounce back a little quicker and able to shake it off, especially fighting out of the gym she is, man. So who do you give that one to?
You know what? I'm going to say the same thing. I just think that gym is just too strong of a gym. And the one thing that I did want to know for de Paula, though, I don't know if you know this, is that she's in a couple. Her girlfriend is Maeda Bueno Silva. So Maeda Bueno Silva has real legit BJJ chops. Maybe she got the rub. Maybe she was like, hey, can you help me work on some takedown defense or something? But with that all being said, let's go picks, man. I'm going to go first. I'm going Cheyenne Bays. I think she gets the job via decision. This is going to be a violent, bloody fight. If the way that I'm thinking about it comes to fruition. Who do you got and why?
I definitely think this one is another coin toss for me. I could see it going both ways, and we've been talking big on Cheyenne Bays, but I'm actually going Gloria de Paula by decision. I don't know if they're going to be wrestling. I don't really see that coming forward. Maybe we do. Maybe Cheyanne Buys does take the Jinyu Fry approach and just hugs her to death, hugs Gloria de Paula to death, and we're not able to see anything else. But I think these girls want to get one on the docket and get a big win. So they're going to be swinging for the fences, showing us something impressive. And going for that, I got Gloria de Paula winning by decision, just based off of the Muay Thai strikes and back and forth attitude that she has. And I do think Cheyanne Buys is going to see a little red and try to just break away from the game plan and get a KO. We'll see what happens, but I got Gloria de Paula by decision going forward.
Okay, right on. Sounds like it should be an interesting one, man. We going separate picks on this one. May the best man win.